Well, Bob, first of all, how'd the meeting go?
Well, I thought the meeting went very well, and we met for about an hour and a half, and what came out of the meeting was that it was with Weston Adams Jr. and Harry Sinden, and I tried to present as many extenuating circumstances as possible, because in every situation there's always a number of things happening that people aren't really aware of. I have requested that the suspension be shortened, and they're giving that every consideration, and we're supposed to be meeting in another week or 10 days. But in the meanwhile, I also requested that we be given the opportunity to speak to other clubs in the National Hockey League with the possibility of having Derek traded there and maybe playing for them next year, if that's possible, and that was granted to me.
Was Derek fined or wasn't he for the fight?
Yes, originally he had been fined for the disturbance and for not accompanying the plane back to Boston, but it has been agreed that the only fine that will be levied now is on the fact that he did not accompany the club back to Boston.
Why was he suspended?
Well, I think he was suspended basically because he missed the flight back to Boston, but because the Bruins feel that there have been other events that have occurred in the past, and that adding them all together, that this would warrant this type of action.
Do you now, after talking with the Bruins today, feel that there's any chance he'll play for them again or not?
Well, it's hard to tell. As I say, I have requested that they give consideration to them shortening the suspension, and I just really couldn't tell. But I think, of course, them allowing me to speak to other clubs, which is unusual, I think kind of gives you some idea of what they're thinking.
Well, do you think now, after the meeting, that it'll be necessary for you? You mentioned at one time, I remember before, when you first heard about this situation, that you might take it to the National Hockey League office. Do you think that'll be necessary now?
Well, I don't know. I think it'll all depend on what the decision of the Bruins are in a week or 10 days, and also what develops with the other clubs in the National Hockey League. If I'm not successful in either of those areas, then I think I probably will have to appeal this to the president's office.
Seriously, what did he expect? Did he think that Harry really couldn't change his mind? You know, I don't think.
Well, we don't know what happens. I know that Derek really has a lot of affection for Harry in the basic 8 or 9 fellows that he was with on the club, and it's an awfully hard thing for him to go through. And I try to present as many extenuating circumstances as I could, and we'll just see what the future holds.
Harry, how did the meeting go?
Well, it was a good meeting. I mean, Mr. Woolf expressed some extenuating circumstances and asked that we consider a reduction in the length of time of Derek's suspension, which at this moment we did not agree to, but we did say that we would take it under advisement and consider that possibility. He also requested that he be given the right to go to other NHL clubs to try and determine whether or not they would be interested in having Derek on their team next year. The rules of the league prohibit it for this year, for him playing for any other team but Boston this year, but Bob Woolf asked if he could, discuss with him, and we gave him that right.
How does that affect any deals that you may be able to make with Sanderson? Suppose he makes a deal on his own or through his attorney with one club, and in the meantime you make your own deal with another team.
Any deal that Wolf could make for Sanderson with another club would be subject to our approval, and we would expect and would demand some compensation in return for Derek's services.
There have been a couple of stories on that fine. Was there a fine or wasn't there for the fight?
There was not a fine for the fight. There was a fine levied for Derek's failure to be on the airplane and travel with the team back to Boston, but there was not a fine for the fight. There was a misunderstanding about that because there was it was under consideration that there might be, but it was determined that there would not be.
Why was he suspended?
Well, he was not suspended for a specific incident. He was suspended for a series of them, all of which had to do with conduct, not abiding by rules and regulations as laid out by the coach and the management of the Bruins. And this was a series of incidents, starting with preseason training and ending with his failure to make the plane. I might add that the fight is not considered one of these incidents at all, because if it was, then probably O'Reilly should be penalized in some way too. But it is not considered one of these incidents, and if it had happened and we weren't concerned about Derek's conduct in other ways over the course of the season, then we probably would have passed it off as one of those things that happen from time to time when you get 20 athletes trying to live together over 8-9 months.
Is there any possibility that you would change your mind and that Sanderson would play for the Bruins again?
It is very, very slim, and I don't think there's a heck of a lot to be gained by it at this time, and I shouldn't be, but I will. Speaking for Derek, I don't think there's a heck of a lot that Derek can salvage by playing for the Bruins again.
Are you disappointed?
Yeah, I am disappointed because I really felt that, Derek would contribute, but it just hasn't happened that way, and I don't want to get into the reasons why, but it just hasn't happened that way, and the sad fact is that we're not able to get out of Derek, since he came back from Philadelphia, any hockey to speak of.